Okay, I just wanted to quickly show the servo setup in my Kyosho Landjump. I tried to find some photos online when I did this, and I didn't find too much information. There's plenty of great videos on how to set up your throttle and brake on nitro cars. Uh, Wish I could name some names, but I watched quite a few of them. But shout out to everybody who tries to help out. I thought maybe this might help out. This is not the stock setup for these servos. Now, it's not drastically different. It's roughly the same. This is what they give you. I believe this is kit original. Goes in something like that. Okay, but, okay, here's the big thing. I wanted to have these be as straight as possible and not go anywhere near the lid. Now, the lid doesn't give you very much clearance if you're familiar with these cars. You know, it's only about that thick. I don't even know, it's about a quarter of an inch maybe. At any rate, so what I did was made myself a template out of carbon. Got that carbon off of Amazon, I believe. Either Yay or Boo, I guess, right? But, you know, they got a lot of stuff. And it's a great carbon. I think I used the filter best rated, and it popped up. It was not a lot of money for the size piece I needed for this. I wish I could point to an exact model number. Try to look it up. Maybe I could add it in the description. At any rate, so these are low profile servos. I originally bought these. Okay, they were great servos. No glitching, no noises, no chattering. However, they're very big top to bottom. Now, I'm told that this is a standard size servo. I'm not exactly sure. They are pretty standard because I also have this one, which it made it up with pretty well. This is an inexpensive servo from not too long ago, Tower Pro. If you don't need a low profile servo, I would highly recommend these because this was dead quiet. Like I said, no chatter. I think I was using them at 6 volts. And they were flawless, but I found that the servo came much too high. I would have had to drill these holes in the side here very high. So I really didn't like that. I didn't like the aesthetic of it. I didn't like that I would have had to bend the wires, bend these piano linkages in order for that to work out. So in order to keep them as linear as possible, I realized that if I bought super low profile servos, I'd be able to mount that plate really low. I cut the standoffs down. They give you aluminum standoffs, you know, right underneath here. So I cut those down, filed them nice and flat so that they stand up straight when you screw it in, and bought a whole lot of clearance, you know, in this area and in this area. So we were able to get a much better alignment, clear the top, and it was still tricky business a little bit. You could see I didn't get this perfectly centered right here, but it doesn't rub, so I was kind of happy about that, so I just leave it. And I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's going to be waterproof or not with these little rubber grommets that I have, you know, here, and this rubber boot. Not really. If I run this thing once after I restore it. Anyway, this is the, I think this is the second generation one, the ones with the red shocks. I have this shock right here that I tried to touch up. Anyway, so that's where we're at. This is the way the linkages are. I'll try to show you a picture of how this wire goes. I just calling it a wire. This is linkage. Excuse me for 1 minute. I just have to take my muffler off if I can. Bear with me. Sorry about the shaky camera work. You can see I don't have a whole lot of videos posted. So here we take this off and I can show you a little bit better. Here's the way this goes. We got come straight, one bend, right in center screen. bend right about there, come down and over. So basically it's just staggered like that. And it stays linear. It goes very, very close in here, but it does not rub. I don't know if you could really see it, but it does not rub. Here we bent the piano wire with a little torch because we needed kind of a tight bend to keep that as simple as possible. Slid that through there, bent it around down, and you could see it. So this is the setup that I have. I'll try to give you a quick demo of it if I can grab the radio. So give you something other than my mess to look at while I turn it on. You get a quick idea of what this looks like when it's up and running. Alright. Obviously the battery's going to be tucked away. So here we have this. You can adjust your endpoints, but no rubbing. Works nice. And then we have this. Now my rudimentary understanding of this is that basically when you're throttling up, you want to move that carb to open. When you throttle back, we don't want to put undue force on the carb, so that's what that spring is for. But what it does get us is on the other side of that servo horn, right over here, it pulls the brake so that we have brake. Now that spring on the back that's just ahead of that blue collar is just to allow our pull to be slightly progressive. So a little bit more force, more force, more force, full force. So that's all. It's just instead of it being an on-off for this brake lever right here, it just gives us a little bit more of a progressive braking. And I believe that's in the instructions too. But anyway, that's how the setup is. The setup is a little different because of this slide carb like this. A lot of them have it's basically a bell crank like this. I don't know if that's what that's called, but this L-shaped thing. There's usually another one right here mounted if you have a normal, or should I say a more normal, rotating type of carb opening. If that's the way I describe it, I'm not sure is the best way, but anyway, so I hope this helps somebody with these particular cars. I'll try to show how it's progressing other than that. I've got the mesh set up pretty nice. I guess we would call it, yeah, the spur and clutch bell pinion distance. That was a little bit tricky. I'll show you that real quick too if you've had any trouble with that. For some reason on my particular car, I did take this apart and clean it as best I could. I ended up needing to round out these holes, all four, and these washers. There's 2 washers on each spot here. And now these mounting blocks, they are keyed inside outside. There's 2 little dimples in them that show you whether you have an OS engine or whatever you have. Basically, I tried it one way, tried it the other way, couldn't get it to align. So basically, I ended up resorting to rounding out those holes and adding these washers, and I was able to get an alignment that was, I think, spot on, I hope. At any rate, so like I said, I hope this helps somebody. Sorry about the mess. Sorry about the ums probably that are in there somewhere. At any rate, okay. If you have any questions, if I try to help out, I'll try to monitor it for a little while at least, see if if anybody's wondering anything. All right, good luck with your projects. Later.